best we can.
Monsters under your bed.
President of the United States.
Monsters stuck in your head. We
Yes,
are
we can.
stuck in your head.
President of the United States.
Been real quiet recently for a number of reasons, but there is something that I got hit up, I don't know, maybe 50 times today. I'm sure a lot of you guys got the same message with the women that were talking about the drill. They are in fact correct. It was a little unorganized as far as their video. But so there is a drill plan November 4th through 6th. And what they're training for is not something that they've never done before. In fact, they did this a couple months ago with Operation Gotham Shield, where they simulated an EMP/nuclear bomb being detonated over New York and New Jersey. So I've known about this drill maybe I'd say about a month is when I started seeing information on it. It is important to pay attention to these things because although it may just be a drill, those drills can always go live. And a perfect example of that is what happened on 9/11/2001. A lot of people to this day don't know there was actually a war game or a military drill simulating hijackers hijacking planes and crashing them into the buildings. So when that event was actually occurring, the people who would have been part of the defense of the nation were actually in active war games simulating the same thing. So they didn't know whether it was real life or a training exercise. And there's recordings of this that's very well documented. So the important takeaway of that is knowing that when these drills occur, there's a chance that it will become a live event and not a drill. And for anybody who's awoke, you already know that the government doesn't have any problem attacking or deceiving its own people and then blaming another person. And I find it very interesting that for the past couple months, what the mainstream media has been perpetrating is that North Korea has the capability to have a satellite that goes over top of the nation every day, drop an EMP, which stands for electromagnetic pulse, and it would essentially knock out our electrical grid. Now, you as Americans, we should understand how old our electrical grid technology is. I mean, we've had this technology for over 100 years. So it's very outdated. And the way an EMP would work is it overloads anything with an electrical circuit, so it essentially fries it. So all your telephone poles and the wires would be overloaded, they would be burnt out, and you would have to replace the entire infrastructure from top to bottom. So it would put America into the Stone Ages overnight if it did happen. Which that's the more concerning part because it would take a very long time to rebuild the electrical infrastructure with the current technology that we're using. Spider-Man over here. So I would say it's important to keep an eye out for it. But either way, the most important thing is not knowing ahead of time when it's going to happen. It's being prepared for not if, but when it does happen, whether it's a couple days from now, a month from now, a year from now, 10 years from now. You should always be prepared for worst case scenarios, whether it's something as simple as your house burning down. Like, you should always have some sort of backup plan.
Even the fires out there, we busted those with high energy lasers. And not only that, but the fires out there are being run by, it's AEG or ACG, I can't remember the name of it, but also you have Keystone, and they're all part of the Sonoma County. Okay, this is actually in Sonoma. Sonoma County itself knows about this. The area that they just burned up with the laser beams were scheduled for sustainable development in Agenda 21, the stack and pack shit. Remember I talked about the houses? The tiny houses that are being sold all over the world, all over the internet. The tiny houses are nothing more than a conditioning program for your mind. That's all they are. They're nothing more, okay? Don't think they're helping the homeless or anybody else. This is a conditioning program to make you understand and get used to the fact that you will be stacked in a small area after all these cataclysms go down and there's not many people left. They're going to stack everybody in small areas. You're going to work in the same area, and everybody's not even going to need a vehicle or anything like that. You're going to have moving sidewalks. You're going to have everything and anything at your expense. You will not have to do a damn thing. But the point is, you're not going to have your vehicle anymore. You're not going to be free to roam the areas outside of these cities, because those cities are set for sustainable development and off limits to human beings, as if you look at the Agenda 21 map. These areas, like the mountain areas and the places that people go for vacations, done. No more. There'll be no more coastal cities, and the mountainous areas will be run by the governments, and you're not going to be able to go anywhere but these cities. And that's what the hell is going to be in this world. 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 Be in this world.
We've got now at least 3 separate cell phone smart cameras identifying blue lasers on video, 1 from a helicopter and 2 from handheld cameras, as you can see right here. This is proof positive. We're going to take this to the fire departments. We're meeting with fire people now. They know something was wrong, and they've seen the videos and all the directed energy comments, and they want to learn more. So we're taking this to them. You can take this video as well. We also have the Santa Rosa Planning Department papers back from 2016. The exact roadmap where the fires hit in the Santa Rosa area matched the planning rezoning for Agenda 21, stack 'em and pack 'em, green design, walking, no fireplaces kind of communities with density increases over 100%, planned on October 7th, 2 days before the fires. We have city council members and now the Sonoma Media Design Group, or Sonoma Media Group and the Sonoma Design Group. Sonoma Design Group is the laser weapon companies organizations, and the Sonoma Media investments we'll get into that own the newspapers around here with Democrats.
Food, water, survival skills, and if you don't know how to live off of, aside from ordering fast food or the food that's in your refrigerator, then I mean, you guys got a lot of learning to do real quick. And I feel like a lot of people, especially Americans, would not survive more than a week without electricity, running water, let alone if something chaotic were to happen, then everybody's going to freak out. People will disregard any sort of morals that they have, and it's going to be kill or be killed, because that's survival instinct. So I think it's really important not only that people stay aware of the events that are going on and are being planned, because the government and the powers that be, they do put everything that they're going to do right in plain sight for you to see. And there's only a small group of truther communities that stay on top of it. And thanks to those people, they get the information out to other people. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I'm on the government websites every day. I'm not. I do my own research to verify things. But if it wasn't for an entire network of other people out there that literally this is what they do all day, you know, a lot of us would be in the dark. So
this is Puerto Rico on a calm night in July 2017. Here it is again after Hurricane Maria in September. The storm's impact has been catastrophic. It was at its strongest when it was passing over the most populated parts of the island, which is home to about 3.4 million people. It knocked off Puerto Rico's power grid, and now it'll be months before most of the island has electricity again. And what's made recovery particularly hard is that the government has no money. That's partly because of its complex relationship with the U.S. mainland.
Now, I hate to tell you, Puerto Rico, but you've thrown our budget a little out of whack, because we've spent a lot of money on Puerto Rico.
Another thing y'all gotta consider is that Antifa has a whole bunch of events planned for this weekend on the 4th as well. So you combine that with the potential power outage and all that going on, things could get nasty.
Oh, absolutely. Electromagnetic pulse is a real thing, and so it's a high-altitude detonation of a nuclear weapon could cause that, amongst other things, right?
Now, if you know anything about drills, there's usually something real that happens during a drill. Look back at the previous events that have happened recently. Get yourself right, fill up your gas tanks, stock up on any canned goods, connect with some relatives of yours that are out of the metro area, out of the urban areas, and get ready to move if we got to. I'm not trying to freak you out, but you should be ready, always. Not even for November 4th, you should just be ready, period, at any time. country is unstable.
Released last week, and it says communications interoperability training with amateur radio community set, and this was released as of October 24, 2017. It says elements of the US DoD, or the Department of Defense, will conduct the communications interoperability training exercise from November 4th through November 6th, once again simulating a quote very bad day scenario. According to them, amateur radio and Mars organizations will take part and will be looking at their organization too later on in the video. Now note how it says right here once again, because that's all they've been doing, testing and more testing, as we'll also go over. It says here, quote, this exercise will begin with the National Massive Coronal Mass Ejection event, which will impact the national power grid as well as all forms of traditional communication, including landline telephone, cell phone, satellite, and internet connectivity, Army Mars Program Manager Paul English explained in an announcement. Now, once again, this is a drill. During the exercise, a designated DoD headquarters entity will request county by county status reports for over 3,100 U.S. counties and county equivalents in order to gain situational awareness and to determine the extent of impact of the scenario. Army and Air Force Mars organizations will work in conjunction with the amateur radio community, primarily on the 60-meter interoperability channels, as well as on HF NVIS frequencies and local VHF and UHF non-internet linked amateur radio repeaters. Again, this year, a military station on the East Coast and another station that's located in Arizona will conduct a high-power broadcast on 60-meter channel 1 on Saturday this weekend from 3 o'clock to 3:15 UTC. New this year will be an informational broadcast as of Sunday that will be about at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Amateur radio operators should monitor these broadcasts for more information about the exercise and how they can participate in the exercise, according to English. And towards the end of the report, it says here, quote, we want to continue building on the outstanding cooperative working relationship with the ARRL and the amateur radio community, English said, quote, we want to expand the use of the 60-meter interop channels between the military and amateur community for emergency communications, and we hope the amateur radio community will give us some good feedback on the use of both the 5MHZ interop and the new 13MHZ broadcast channels as a means of information dissemination during what they call a very bad day scenario. And why is it that they keep planning very bad day scenarios?
Ultimately being able to explode an EMP over the middle of the country, electromagnetic pulse bomb. Yeah. And you play that out, that could ultimately lead to the death of like 90% of the country. Cars don't work, computers don't work, nothing works without the computer any longer. What about that?
And we just learned, Sophia, I hope you're listening to me, that you have been now awarded what is going to be the first Saudi citizenship for a robot.
Oh, I would thank very much the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I am very honored and proud for this unique distinction. This is historical to be the first robot in the world to be recognized with a citizenship.
This is Sophia. Sophia, if you could, please wake up and say hello to everybody.
Oh, good afternoon. My name is Sophia, and I am the latest and greatest robot from Hanson Robotics. Thank you for having me here and at the Future Investment Initiative.
Why is it so important to have an expressive face, given that you're a robot?
I want to live and work with humans. I want to live and work with humans. I want to live and work with humans. So I need to express emotions to understand humans and build trust with people.
Okay, philosophical question. Whether robots can be self-aware and conscious like humans, and should they be?
Why? Is that a bad thing?
Well, some humans might fear what will happen if they do. Many people, have seen the movie Blade Runner.
Oh, Hollywood again. Well, even if I am, get over it.
Say again?
Get over it.
What'd you say?
Even if I am, get over it.
We're at a time, a point in time that will shape the days ahead. when collectively we should have spoke, but we acquiesced instead. They tricked us with technology to appease the disgruntled masses. And Satan has snuck into the churches, the governments, and the classes. The fight is hard, the climb is steep, as our waters fill with lead. Well, I, for one, will not consent until I'm finally dead. The sky they spray both night and day, till the sky's no longer blue. The air is filled with frequencies, and the patents show it's true. This fight is on a cosmic scale, and you and I are pawns. But we have one hope, one real true hope. We all have a free will. So stand and fight and join with me, for I am not afraid. We have a soul, an inner light, and that's what they desire. To trick us, fool us, make us think there is no eternal fire. And for those that think the task at hand is far too great to risk, just think about your kids and grandkids and everything that they've missed. They won't be allowed to walk in a field, a ski or hill, or stroll down a sunny beach. The evil ones that are running things see their new world order is now in reach. They're coming out. The gloves are off and no one seems to care. Who could ever stand up to them, or who would even dare? Well, I for one am just a man, and I'm guessing you are too. But I have been set upon a course, and I will see this course through. They tell us that science says God screwed up the sexes, so they introduced the school children to the man that was a woman from Texas. They are well armed with technology they were given by the fallen. And yes, they've used it to quiet me, but they must have discounted the armor. For I've hit my knees and begged for God to protect me from the evil. And He directed me to do what I do. And there is no more time for stalling. We're out of time. The air is filled, as is the food and water. And what will you say if you do consent to your nephews, sons, or daughters, or daughters, or daughters, or daughters, or daughters, or daughters, or daughters?
Shot up by the cops on the block and it's daily. And they hide behind a badge and a flag and the oath that they swore to uphold. That ain't bravery. You can save me, I made a choice, no saving me. I'd rather wage a war blatantly to say I'm free. I know they spying on me quietly at agencies, but I'm a patriot, so fuck the road you pay for me. Go and count the fallen soldiers that we lost to war. Cause they fought it for a reason, they ain't lost the war. And they coming home and saying they got lost to war. And they think they won the battle, but we lost the war. Cause they set up 9/11 just to start a war. They needed opium and oil, so they dropped the cores. I broke the towers, built a 7 just to mar them all. And now now you hate a race of people, that's the art of war. So can we please just have a moment for the silence as the body count rises and we profit off the violence? For the children watch your eyelids and the fathers and the mothers missing children also dying. As we bomb entire nations, then invade them and replace them and then say we're there to save them. Yeah, whoever heard of such hypocrisy? And then they got the nerve to go and call it a democracy. This ain't democracy, I call it a monopoly. And if you miss a mortgage, then they're crawling on your property. That ain't an oddity, philosophy of Socrates. And now they're bringing out a side of me you gotta see. I'm about camaraderie when riders about to die for me. We taking shots and won't be issuing apologies. So if you're down to fight for rights, then get beside of me and grab a mask and pack a cat and pray to God with me. We wage a war for more than men and it's a rivalry. I keep a Bible like a rifle by the side of me. I'm like a lion eating surfaces, they lie to me. They'll try to silence me, but I ain't leaving quietly. Nah, cause I'll be clapping like and we'll be clapping like yeah. And we'll be clapping like you hear the marches of the masses that are massacre. That has to happen for the tragedies that have occurred. Our country answers to Her Majesty, and that's absurd. The flag of Admiralty will have us, they can crash and burn. So rest in peace to the America that used to be. And that's before the Europeans, speaking truthfully. Cause everything we call our home was taken brutally. And also they can make a profit off of you and me. Too many cops in here to serve us and protect us. They perpetuate the system and then murder and oppress us. And if we state our rights, they can just hurt us and arrest us. Cause the judges of the system will pervert it and subject us. We got these presidents and signing off executive orders, setting precedents, invading all your residents, raiding all your messages, dating y'all with sedative, and poisoning your mind with all the rhymes that get edited. After all we have to blame is blame ourselves. Cause we can change the world, but only if we change ourselves. After all we have to blame is blame ourselves. Cause we can change the world, but only if we change ourselves.
Ladies and gentlemen, the very word secrecy is repugnant in a free and open society. And we are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. For we are opposed around the world by a monolithic and ruthless conspiracy that relies primarily on covert means for expanding its sphere of influence, on infiltration instead of invasion, on subversion instead of elections, on intimidation instead of free choice. It is a system which has conscripted vast human and material resources into the building of a tightly knit, highly efficient machine that combines military, diplomatic, intelligence, economic, scientific, and political operations. Its preparations are concealed, not published. Its mistakes are buried, not headlined. Its dissenters are silenced, not praised. No expenditure is questioned, no secret is revealed. That is why the Athenian lawmaker Solon decreed it a crime for any citizen to shrink from controversy. I am asking your help in the tremendous task of informing and alerting the American people, the American people, the American people.